Hello, my name is Rosalind B. Harris. I'm the publisher of the Denver Urban Spectrum. Thank you so much for joining us this evening for Hope, helping other people every day. Our annual Black History Month celebration recognizing African Americans who make a difference. Black History Month is made, created, developed every day and should be celebrated every day. But since February has been designated as our month, we take pride in recognizing accomplishments and achievements of African Americans locally and nationally. Because of the pandemic, this year's event is presented a little different, but we've all heard the saying that one monkey don't stop no show, and the show must go on, especially when it comes to honoring our own. You're in for a treat tonight, so get prepared. I'd like to welcome again and thank you for joining us, but now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our MCs for the evening, past honorees, Norma Page, who is also my very good friend, and also another past honorees is Quincy Shannon.
Well, greetings and salutations. My name is Reverend Quincy Shannon, most just call me Q, and I must say it is a pleasure to be here with you all another year. I'm a teacher, a preacher, a father, and a son, and I'm excited about all of the honorees in which we will have a chance to honor this year. And I am here with the great Norma Page.
Oh, that's very kind of you, Q. I appreciate it. And as I say every year, this is one of my favorite events of the year. We're doing it a little different this time.
We are.
Q and I have been together so many years honoring African Americans who make a difference. And you know what I like best about this is it gives us an opportunity to experience all of the wonderful gems we have in our community that are truly making a difference. And hope, helping other people every day. What better a title could have been chosen? In addition to being the great Norma Page, I'm also a mother, a grandmother, and a community servant, and just honored to be a part of this program this evening.
Man, just like what Norma just said, this is a new opportunity, and we know many of you all may be watching from the comfort of your homes or at friends' houses, socially distanced, of course. But this is a great opportunity for us to highlight for the world what Denver has to offer. And so what we're hoping is that with this, wherever it comes to you, that you like, that you share it, that you make sure others have a chance to see it, because there are some African Americans in our community that are truly making a difference. And I'm so excited that we have a chance to share them with you all this year. And so buckle in, get ready, because the Urban Spectrum has something special for you all this year. And so, we hope that you enjoy the show. And as the show gets ready to begin, you know we have to start off in decency and in order to make sure that we are honoring our ancestors with a word of prayer. And immediately after the prayer, we are going to hear a word from our sponsors. And so I would ask, if it's safe for you to do so wherever you are, if you could bow your heads, close your eyes, and open your heart for a word of prayer. Oh God, our God of ages past, our hope for years to come. You've been a shelter from a stormy blast and our eternal home. Before there was earth and water stood and earth received her frame. That is why from everlasting to everlasting, we will praise your name the same. Spirit of the living God, fall fresh on us. Allow us to order this program in the way that it should go so that we are able to honor those who came before us, realizing that we are standing on the shoulders of our ancestors. And so God, we thank you for these African Americans who make a difference. We thank you for the Urban Spectrum who takes time each year to give them this honor. And we hope that no matter where people are where they watch this, that they have a hedge of protection around them, that you are keeping both them and their families safe. This pandemic has shown us that the world can stop any moment. And so we may not know what's in the future, but we know the God who holds the future. And so we set this program in your hands, oh great God. knowing that there are great things that we will continue to do. For this is not the end of our story, simply a comma as we move towards our period. In your most humble name we do pray. Let us all say, Ashe and Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Alfonso Porter, and I'm the editor of the Denver Urban Spectrum. This year, the Spectrum enters its 34th year, and this award-winning publication is dedicated to spreading the news about people of color, whether in news, business, features, profiles, art, education, or community news. You can always turn to the Denver Urban Spectrum to deliver. As you can imagine, 2020 was a very difficult year for all of us, but specifically for the Spectrum in circulating and distributing our hard copies to our readership. However, you can always count on our online publication. But more than that, the content this year has been extremely difficult for us. In the wake of the George Floyd execution, the murder of Breonna Taylor, and the death of Ahmaud Arbery, it has been an exacting year as we continue to cover police reform and advocate for a change in this nation.
Hold up. I gotta stop you right there, because I think it's important that we say that Black lives matter. And that at the Urban Spectrum, not only do we respect, but we honor the fact that Black lives matter. So I would like to say that we are supporting Elijah McClain, Paul Childs, and so many of our local individuals who have been affected by the national stage of what is going on.
And as the year came to a close, we finally entered into a new era with the election of our first African-American female vice president. And so the news has not all been bad this year, but in the wake of the insurrection that we just witnessed a couple weeks ago, we know now that a change does need to come. And with that, I'm honored to introduce one of last year's African Americans who make a difference, an honoree who will sing "What a Difference a Day Make," Miss Helen Bradshaw.
What a difference a day made. 24 little hours brought the sun and the flowers where it used to be rain. My yesterday was blue, dear. Today I'm part of you, dear. My lonely nights are through, dear. Since you say you were mine, what a difference a day makes. Skies above can't be stormy. Since the moment of bliss, that thrilling kiss, it's heaven when I found romance in my menu. What a difference a day makes, and that difference is you.
Yes, yes, yes. What a difference a day makes. Thank you, Miss Helen Bradshaw. And now we'd like to introduce our first group of phenomenal community servants, our African Americans who make a difference.
Ashlee Wedgeworth, President, Urban League Young Professionals Organization. During the last year, Ashlee Wedgeworth helped launch the Enrichment Scholarship Fund to award scholarships to high school students. She also supervised the annual Thanksgiving in July, a day of sharing food and resources, and led the Mingle and Jingle event providing toys and financial contributions to families during the holidays. Ms. Wedgeworth takes an active role and says, "Community is important to me. Our youth need role models who can help shape them into productive members of society. I am a product of my environment, and I take pride in pouring back into the community that helped me." She says the biggest challenges facing the Black community are lack of resources, lack of family structure, unfair imprisonment rates, and financial illiteracy. She feels that continued education and support will allow the community to work through these challenges. Her future goals include continuing to build her scholarship fund to support youth of color seeking higher education, running for office in some capacity, and obtaining her real estate license. I would like to be remembered as a woman who is resilient, ambitious, a strong community advocate, and determined to make a change for those less resourced, says Wedgeworth. I want young girls to know that they can overcome anything, and there is no limit to what they can accomplish.
Hello, I am Ashlee Wedgeworth, and I would just like to say that I am very thankful for this recognition and that I received this award. I would like to thank my family, friends, and community who always support me and allow me the space to be able to do this work. I would also like to thank the Urban Leadership Foundation of Colorado. I completed the program in 2018, and that was really the catalyst in my leadership journey. So I'm very thankful to be here and to be able to do this work. Thank you.
Brian Arnold, Program Director, Ready to Work Aurora. Brian Arnold is known for working and creating solutions with an emphasis on solving the disparities of Black, Indigenous, and people of color within the homeless community. He also believes in hiring a staff that reflects the communities he serves, from leadership positions to frontline workers. Over the past 5 years, I have engaged in activities where I can be a voice, not only for the homeless community, but also for how homelessness affects the African American community, says Arnold, who also says he has a mission in life to end homelessness in the Metro Denver area with an emphasis on Black, Indigenous people of color. Housing is one of the biggest challenges faced by African Americans in the community. There are too many African Americans who do not have adequate housing, from homelessness to home ownership. There are far too many who rely on subsidies and low-income housing. As a nation, this needs to be made a priority. I believe we are on our way, we just have a long way to go. If we solve housing, we solve a lot of other issues, says Arnold. A future goal is to help end homelessness for Black and brown people in the Denver metro area and be an example for other cities across the country. I believe it can happen in my lifetime, he says. Arnold hopes to be remembered as a father, a husband, one who loved unconditionally, and someone who made the world a better place.
Hi, my name is Brian Arnold, and I'm with an organization called Ready to Work. And Ready to Work is a transitional house that works with folks of color. We've been fortunate in the last few years to really work 80% of the folks that are in our house are folks of color, and we are trying to get as many folks off the streets as we possibly can. Homelessness is tough, and in our community, in our culture, it's even worse. We're about 8% of the population here in the Denver metro area, and we're about 40% of the folks experiencing homelessness, and so that just can't continue to happen. So I just want to thank the Urban Spectrum for this opportunity to come out and hopefully make a difference. I think that we are, but we're just getting the work started. This is a big task, and we're going to get it done. So thank you, Urban Spectrum, for this amazing opportunity.
Dedrick Sims, CEO, Sims Fayola Foundation. Dedrick Sims has made improving the lives of young boys and men of color his mission. Over the last 5 years, Sims has connected youth with professionals who serve as mentors and role models, who provide opportunities they may not have and options through programs in Denver, Ohio, Michigan, Arkansas, and Texas. In 2020, Sims refused to let the perils of COVID-19 stop him from doing his work. He transferred his agency's in-person services to a digital platform and doubled the amount of program participants served. Before the pandemic, we worked with 60 to 70 young men and boys of color and 50 professionals. Last year, we doubled that number and served 150 young men and more than 100 young professionals, he says. Sims says his activism is focused on creating opportunities for communities of color, especially young men and boys, to ensure they had access to opportunities. He views education, lack of information related to economic empowerment, and mental health as top priorities for African Americans. He believes increasing schools with an Afrocentric focus that promote positive reflections of Blackness would be extremely helpful. In the future, I'd love to lead both the community and school system in creating equitable and meaningful educational experiences for students of color, says Sims. He wants to be remembered as someone who made a difference and left the place better than he found it. This is the second time Dedrick Sims has received this award because his efforts continue and deserve to be recognized.
Hi, my name is Dedrick Sims, and I am the CEO of the Sims Fayola Foundation. I am super proud and humbled to be recognized for the second time for this amazing award, African Americans Who Make a Difference, presented by the Denver Urban Spectrum. I am super elated that our work is being valued, is seen as of value, and is providing value to our community. So thank you so much, Urban Spectrum, for this recognition. Happy 34th anniversary, and let's keep working.
GiGi Hatcher, CEO and founder of Etiquette on the Runway, LLC. GiGi Hatcher is best known for helping teens build self-confidence by providing tools to deal with low self-esteem, bullying, addiction, and self-worth. She launched a scholarship program for low-income families and founded the Let's Beat Lymphomia Cancer Walkathon Festival, raising more than $35,000 for Lymphomia Research Foundation. Hatcher says the struggle she faced as a teenager led to her involvement. My early years were extremely traumatic. My father was tragically taken from us. I had no confidence. I was bullied verbally and physically. I was told my life didn't matter, and I had thoughts of suicide. When asked about the challenges facing the African American community, Hatcher says we need more parent and teacher mentors that truly care about our youth and who are willing to listen instead of assuming and predicting what they will do. There is too much lecturing and comparing instead of supporting and directing youth onto positive paths. It starts at home by listening. Future plans for Hatcher include expanding Etiquette on the Runway to provide services that will utilize her skills as a behavioral psychotherapist. Hatcher says she would like to be remembered as a strong and confident Black woman who was bullied to success, as the woman who offered the first Christian-based, minority-owned etiquette program for African American youth. I want to be remembered in the stories of the youth I helped. And finally, I want to be remembered as a woman of God, told Miss GiGi, you can do it, and so she did. And on a point of personal privilege, my daughter Imani Shannon went through the Etiquette on the Runway program, and it was so empowering from her and our family. We'd like to say thank you, Miss GiGi, for all the work that you do and will continue to do.
Hi, my name is GiGi Hatcher, and I am the CEO and founder of Etiquette on the Runway Elite. We are recognized as the first minority etiquette program in Colorado. I am absolutely beyond thrilled for being selected as one of the recipients for the 2021 Ahmad Award. To all of the recipients, I'd like to say to you, thank you so much for sharing your spotlight with me. And I want to encourage you to continue to move forward, to push your way through and make that mark in history. To my husband, Mark Hatcher, you already know, my partner in no crime, my ride and don't die. Thank you so much for being so supportive and just being there for me and sharing my vision. I would not be in this position if it weren't for you, Mark. We're in the pocket. My kids, JC, Jeremy, Tristan, my Lexi Lou, Aaron, Scott, and Charlie, my sister and brother, Wendy and Regis, my sissies for putting up with my shenanigans and my antics to help support me to where I am today, my Kimmy Poo, and also my mom. Thank you so much for all the ingredients that you've given me to be the woman that I am here today. And I just want to say, Denver Urban Spectrum, B. Harris, I hope you know that you are a true legendary landmark. And I'm not kidding when I say that. I hope that each and every person every day, and I'm not talking about just your family, that they are looking at you and saying thank you, because you are certainly someone to be reckoned with. Thank you for allowing me to see what it feels like to fulfill my dream. God bless.
Halim Ali, Executive Director and founder of From the Heart Enterprises, co-founder, King's Council Black Male Health Initiative. Halim Ali serves as a master facilitator, spiritual teacher, mentor, mental health advocate, and motivational speaker. He is best known for his former work as Colorado hip-hop artist Don Blas. He admits, while having had significant major distribution deals over the span of his music career, he was engaged in illegal activities, abnormal behavior, and the destruction of communities. Today, he is now being recognized as a leader in mental health, a social justice advocate, and someone who has overcome anger issues, depression, addiction, and homelessness. Ali's most notable contribution this past year was the Heart Work campaign, a 90-day community response to critical challenges such as COVID-19, police brutality, racism, and Black male mental health issues. Sessions provided information on living a healthy lifestyle. He believes the greatest challenges facing African Americans are our willingness to embrace change and to do the work to undo generational trauma. We also must address ancient wounds and dismantle structures rooted in patriarchy or matriarchy. Then we can move forward for the sake of the family and ultimately for the welfare of the whole community. In the future, Ali hopes to launch a learning center dedicated to trade skills, the arts, mental health services, social justice, financial literacy, and entrepreneurship programs for young men. And when asked how he would like to be remembered, Ali's answer was simple: as God's man.
Greetings and blessings. My name is Halim Ali. I am the Executive Director and the founder of From the Heart Enterprises. I am a Denver, Colorado native. Being born in the streets of Denver at an early age, I encountered a lot of problems as a youth. I went through a lot, and both of my parents were in the house, so it wasn't the typical one single household story, but I went through a lot. Felonies, getting shot, getting jumped, catching dope cases, things of that nature, doing illegal activity. And it dawned on me once I had come into manhood that I had a duty, because once I got in my right mind and I started to live a godly, fruitful, honest life, I knew that it was my duty to help other young men who were like me, who may not have had that same support, right, that I had. Right, so I began From the Heart Enterprises in 2016, and our focus was young Black males and young Black women. And since that inception of From the Heart, we have definitely expanded our reach, and we are serving all of humanity. So this award is such an honor, because this is, it's like the reward that you don't expect. You get lost in just doing the work, and when you are recognized. I mean, I'm emotional right now because of this honor, because this is huge. I grew up looking at the urban spectrum, and now to be featured in the urban spectrum as someone who's making a positive change in this community that I grew up in, it's everything. So I want to say thank you, Miss B. Harris, and I also want to say thank you to the urban spectrum. And Miss B asked me I said, what do I have to do, right? Because I'm a Leo, so I have the nature of giving. I'm never really receiving. So every time someone gives me something, I'm like, okay, what can I do for this person? And the sister said, just keep doing that good work in the community. And I said, sister, that's exactly what I plan to do. So Halim Ali, From the Heart Enterprises, thank you again. Urban Spectrum, peace and love.
Harold Fields, President, Denver Black Reparations Council. Harold Fields produced a think tank style gathering, Second Tuesdays, where African Americans and their allies gathered to dialogue about race relations, which ran for over 2 decades. I was engaged with the Denver Foundation to help move the foundation to focus on racial equality in internal and external operations. And through Second Tuesdays, we created an environment that brought together hundreds of people to address race issues and to set the stage for moving from discussion to action, says Fields. During the past year, Fields' most notable contribution to the African American community was helping to start a fund for reparations and becoming the chair. He then brought together other African Americans to create the Denver Black Reparation Council to administer 2 funds. I grew up in Tulsa with the survivors of the 1921 race massacre. John Hope Franklin and Dr. Vincent Harding were role models for me, says Fields, as citing his reason why he takes an active role. They helped me to learn the value of connecting events of the past with future survival. We can lead our society to make the shift from the dominant values of separation, hierarchy, and patriarchy to create transformative solutions based on interconnection, interdependency, balance, and wholeness. Fields believes racism is still one of the greatest challenges faced by African Americans. He would like to be remembered as a person who connected thinkers to activists in ways that promoted positive structural change to the unresolved trauma of historical inequities in society.
It is such an honor for me to receive this award. My name is Harold Fields, and I have come to learn that we inherit unfinished business from both of our parents. My parents, both of them, came from two all-black towns in Oklahoma. My dad moved to Tulsa and became part of the Renaissance Tulsa after the massacre. And he owned a plumbing business and employed 12 men. And I learned from him the values of hard work and business, but more importantly, philanthropy, because I watched him help people in the neighborhood and get more of his brothers and sisters into their own businesses. My mother was a longtime Tulsa school teacher, and she filled our home with books and ideas. And I learned from her the value of excellence and doing the best you possibly could. Putting those two things together, I want to dedicate my award to the ancestors who are still giving guidance to generations now and generations to come.
James Roy II, Executive Director, Denver Metro Community Impact, founder of Urbanity Advisors. James Roy II is best known for creating opportunities for others and utilizing his career to continually strive to cultivate social equity in Denver. As a social entrepreneur, his business efforts aim to solve problems affecting marginalized communities by utilizing people to co-create innovative actions for positive change. In 2020, Roy helped produce a series of community conversations in Northeast Park Hill, which led to the mobilization of $100,000 of COVID-19 relief funds, providing children and families with emergency access to food, transportation, and educational materials. Roy says, over the last 5 years, I have led the collective efforts of a network of organizations in Northeast Park Hill, cultivated community engagement and agency, guided a collective strategy, facilitated collaboration between nonprofit organizations, and advocated for policy change. Love of community is why he takes an active role. Being active gives me an opportunity to advance social equity and maintain a future that is hopeful in the face of systematic oppression. Roy says African Americans are challenged by the legacy of segregation and redlining, which create obstacles to wealth building through real estate as well as inadequate infrastructure, disproportionate policing, and the lack of access to quality education, healthy foods, and human services. Roy has big plans for the future and a strong vision for the legacy he hopes to leave, saying, "My focus is on job development and professional advancement. I would like to be remembered for creating long-lasting, life-changing opportunities and generational and community wealth for African Americans."
Hi, my name is James Roy II. I'm honored to be nominated for this award from Denver Urban Spectrum, and really elated to be recognized for the community work that I've done. I aim to continue to make that happen, and with my family and along with my friends and everyone that's making this good work happen for an equitable future for African Americans in Denver.
Jason McBride, founder, McBride Impact, Jason McBride, founder, McBride Impact, Prevention Specialist for Struggle of Love Foundation. I am personally proud of this young man because I have known him since he attended high school and was a very good friend to my oldest son. Jason McBride helps direct valuable resources and mentoring to at-risk youth of color, including Black and brown youth who are gang involved or influenced. McBride's impacts activities include the distribution of backpacks, food and toys, and the facilitation of connections with people in leadership positions to help produce a new generation of winners. The success of young people I've been blessed to mentor is everything. Some of the kids have won community awards and are now leaders in the community themselves, says McBride, who established McBride Impact in honor of his father, John McBride, who worked in the 5 Points area for many years. The younger McBride believes the challenges facing the African American community include educating our youth with new methods and encouraging young people to get involved in the political process. In the future, I would like to expand our programming to better serve all demographics of our community, serve more families, and set up more education and training to help provide and improve employment pathways for youth, he says. He would like to be remembered as someone who loved being from Park Hill, worked for equity and equality for children from his neighborhood, and helped change the narrative for Black youth. But most importantly, he wants to be remembered as a man who continued his father's legacy as a caretaker of the community.
Hi, my name is Jason McBride, founder of the McBride Impact, and I just want to thank everybody in the community that voted for me or nominated me for this award. It really means a lot to win this award. I just try to support the people in the community who don't have the voice, who need the resources that we provide at the McBride Impact. So once again, thank you to everyone in the community that has supported me, that believe in me, and especially thanks to my pops for doing this and leading me in the right direction. So wouldn't be a McBride Impact without John McBride. So thanks, Dad. Love you. Love the community. Have a good day.
John A. Reid, Fund Development Expert. John Reid used his 35 years of experience as a fund development expert and professional fundraiser to level the playing field in the nonprofit sector. From building organizational capacity to promoting sustainability, he has not only helped raise millions of dollars, he has directed critical resources to needy organizations. Best known for putting fun in fund development, and among his accomplishments, Reid is most proud of serving on the board of directors for Grand Design Incorporated and supporting the Center of African American Health over the last 5 years. When asked about the greatest challenge facing African American communities, without hesitation, Reid says COVID-19. He believes the level of uncertainty and economic impact of COVID-19 will devastate the communities unless solid effort are put in place to help sustain the community. Resources that support families and youth to maintain the essence of community are very much needed. I look forward to helping to build our Black youth voices for a greater and more sustainable tomorrow with the Urban Spectrum Youth Journalism Foundation, building a sustainable infrastructure that allows teenagers and young adults viable pathways for careers in journalism, advertising, and marketing is most important more now than ever in the digital age of technology, says Reid. On some of his future plans, Reid would like to be remembered as someone who can do and had the attitude, who left a large enough footprint for others to follow. He also wants to be remembered as a person who committed his entire life to giving and creating for others so that others, especially youth, have a fighting chance.
Hello, I'm John Reid, and what a tremendous honor to be here today to receive this prestigious award in honor of Black History Month. Given who the Urban Spectrum is for me and for the community, I am absolutely elated. So thank you, B. Harris, and your entire team. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You know, there comes a time where you have an opportunity to see a young man who is coming up after you, that you just have to simply pause and say, I am excited to see their future. And that is exactly who we are about to hear from. A young man by the name of Elias Goss, who is a Denver native. I am proud to say he goes to my alma mater, Denver East Angels. Hey Lolo, hey Lolo, hey. And this young man is someone who I want to put on everybody's radar. He is doing some incredible things. Now, I would like you to know he is a brother. He has 2 younger brothers as well as a younger sister. He comes from a family that many of us know, whether it's thinking about his wonderful grandparents, Ralph Simpson, who is a former ABA and NBA star, or Shelly Anderson Simpson, whether it's thinking about his father, Eric Goss, or his mother, Leah Goss, but also looking at what he is doing moving forward. This young man strives to maintain over a 4.0 grade point average. He is someone who wants to go to a D1 school or to be able to make it to an Ivy League school for his academics. And this young man says that he has some amazing strengths to continue to do great things. He is recognized as a role model even as today with the My Brother's Keepers, and he is an emerging leader. This young man says that if sky is the limit, he would like to be an astronaut. But I can't say it as well as he will. So I want you all to hear one of his original pieces about what it's like being a Black man in these yet-to-be United States.
I'm a Black man, a stereotype, a killer, a thug. I am a rapist, a gangbanger, and my job is to mug. I am ignorant, a savage, nothing, no one. I'm a little boy with a brush, but you think it's a gun. I'm a Black man who fits the description, so cops it's shoot to kill. Keep your hands up and your license out. That was my fire drill. I'm a Black man. We're like cows, always sent to slaughter. But did you know, before you killed him, George Floyd was someone's father? I'm a Black man. I can't go on a run. I can't go to sleep. I can't have fun. But the mistake you made was thinking we were finished, but the fight has just begun. See, I'm a real Black man. Strong, caring, and intelligent. But when you see my face, it's funny how those things become irrelevant. I learned at a young age that black was darkness and white was pure light. But without the darkness that fills the night sky, the stars wouldn't shine so bright. So you see, I'm a star maker, a caretaker, with skin so divine. I am proud of the pigment inside of me. I am truly God's design. I am smart, cultured, something, someone. I'm a man with a cap and gown, and you believed it couldn't be done. And what you don't realize is, I've run a mile before the race has even begun. I'm a Black man, tired and frustrated, but I'm not allowed to show it. The white man has always had an advantage, but they act like they don't know it. I'm a Black man. Failure is a price I cannot afford. Weakness isn't an option. My pain has to be ignored. I am brave. I'm courageous. My love is contagious. I am kind. I am funny, and I'm always on my grind. I'm a legend in the making, truly breathtaking. I'm a valedictorian, written by historians. I'm a music lover, a twin and brother, a light that shines like no other. I'm a movie watcher, a showstopper, raised by a wise father. I'm a leader, a reader, an innovator, engineered for something greater. So now you know who I am, and Black Lives Matters for which I stand. Because in this world, we're all the same. George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, say their name.
Lisa Young, founder, Idea Stages. Lisa Young calls herself an activist, meaning she uses her work as an actor as a form of activism, advocating for racial and social justice. As an actor, director, and youth theater educator in Colorado, Young has served for 7 years on the board of Colorado Theater Guild and is chair of the Diversity Committee. She also mentors youth at Rising Star Missionary Baptist Church, where her parents are pastors. I founded IDEA, Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, Access Stages, to be a grassroots advocacy and resource organization centering on the needs of theater makers, including Black, Indigenous and people of color, women of color, lesbian, gay, bisexual, trans, queer, intersex, asexuality, and others, also those who are blind, deaf, or hard of hearing, living with disabilities, or neurodiverse. I'm really proud of our video series, Outspoken, which gives a platform to participants of the Black Lives Matter movement. IDEA provides mentorship and support to African American directors, actors, and participants for their artistry and to elevate marginalized voices. Young survived multiple strokes that caused paralysis on her left side, but persevered and continued doing her work, staying mobile with the aid of a motorized scooter and a wheelchair. She has served as the president of the Disabled Student Union, shining light on the needs of disabled citizens. Young wants to be remembered as an unapologetically Black and disabled woman, as well as a change agent in the arts world who passionately loved artists and the arts enough to bring justice and liberation to the theater community.
Hi, I'm Lisa Young, and I would like to thank the Denver Urban Spectrum, the Colorado community, and everyone who nominated me. This is an honor that I probably never thought I would receive. I would like to thank everyone who ever told me that I was too loud, because you made me speak louder. And we have to remember that for people to be safe, we have to be safe first from white supremacy. We have to be safe from systemic racism, anti-Blackness, and if we don't get that straight, nothing else will be straight. Things have to change. And I will just quote the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. when he said, "Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere." Thank you to my mom, my dad, my family, my husband, my loved ones, and everyone in this community that supports me.
Makisha Boothe, founder and head business coach for Sister Biz Global Network. Makisha Boothe has provided free and low-cost coaching, training, and technical assistance and community space to Black women in business. She has worked diligently to close the equity gaps in entrepreneurship for more than 2 decades. Her work branched into political activism, legislative work, and educational reform. Among her many achievements include raising and distributing $85,000 in COVID-19 relief grants to businesses in 2020. She also raised $75,000 in emergency funding to launch an accounting clinic to help Black women business owners streamline their financials. From supporting 500 women business owners with free training, coaching sessions, and supporting services to help their business grow, Boothe created space where women have become business besties, supporters, and friends on their entrepreneurial journeys. I take an active role in the work because I want to see our community break change, heal, and prosper. The work I do is about eradicating racism and creating equity for all people, says Boothe. Future goals include creating a global network on Black women in business to include creating an ecosystem for us and by us that recycles the Black dollar, cultivates more Black millionaires, and builds unprecedented wealth in the Black community. As far as her legacy, Boothe says, I don't know what I care so much about what people think about me. Now or when I'm gone, I try to focus more on pleasing God, serving my community, loving my family, and walking in my purpose, fighting for what I believe in and becoming a better me every single day.
Hey fam, it's Makisha here. I'm so excited to be an honoree, a recipient of the African Americans Who Make a Difference Award by the Urban Spectrum. First, I just want to say thank you to B and the Urban Spectrum team. I also want to give a shout out to all the supporters and the women in our network and the Sister Biz Global Network. And this is truly an honor. This is such a meaningful award to get an award for making a difference. That is what life's about for me. So thank you so much for the consideration. And yeah, thanks.
Matthew Burkett, founder and CEO, Fly Fisher Group. Best known as an entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist, Matthew Burkett has played a major role in the redevelopment of the Five Points community and Lincoln Hills areas. During the past year, his financial support and investment in Five Points Black-owned restaurant community helps to sustain it through the pandemic and allowed it to thrive with the health restrictions abated. The Rossonian is a spiritual anchor for the 5 Points, and it needed to be guided through the redevelopment process by Black ownership, says Burkett, who purchased the Rossonian within the last 5 years. When asked about challenges facing the African American communities, Burkett believes it will take both commitment and the ability to work together to build a strong future for African Americans in Denver. He also believes community members must lead by example. Burkett says, the successful redevelopment and activation of the Welton Street retail corridor is at the top of his list of one of his many future endeavors. He sees Welton Street as an area with great potential for future Black businesses and as a place to catapult community projects that support leaders, youth, and families. Simply put, Burkett would like to be remembered as someone who led by example.
B. Harris, Urban Spectrum, thank you so much for this wonderful honor. Amazing 34 years in the game, 17 honorees. I really feel great about being included in the group. I'm really looking forward to working with the honorees, many of whom I know and some I'm looking forward to meeting, and continuing to do great work in our city. I'm passionate about 5 Points. We give back in a lot of different ways, but me and my family have really planted our flag here in the neighborhood, and all of our efforts and talents we try to give to the neighborhood in lots of different ways. And we're looking forward to continuing to do that for many years to come. Again, B, thank you very much. Thanks to my lovely wife, who is the wind beneath my wings, my kids, my mom and brothers and sisters, all who live in the neighborhood. Thank you for all your support, and I look forward to continuing to be useful in any way I can.
Morris W. Price Jr., Vice President and Executive Director, City Year. In his lengthy career in education, nonprofits, philanthropy, and civic engagement, Morris W. Price Jr. has helped shape public policy and highlighted intersections between the civil rights movement and the LGBT community. At the end of his first year as the only African American on the Board of Trustees of Rose Community Foundation, he played a role in the creation of a $750,000 Community Action Racial Justice Fund, providing general operation and programming funds for Black-led and Black community-focused nonprofits. During the last 5 years and while serving as the Executive Director of City Year, Price built a team that grew a number of AmeriCorps educators in Denver public schools from 55 in 7 schools to 75 in 11 schools, growing its impact from 2,000 to nearly 4,000 students. He feels that the biggest challenge for African Americans is to make the most of the momentum that was created last summer with the racial unrest and the awakening of the broader mainstream and corporate communities to move the needle from protest and outrage to policy and outcomes. His future goals include launching a philanthropic organization that will not only increase personal, institutional, and corporate giving, but create a pipeline for individuals to move into executive director and C-suite level positions. Price wants to be remembered as someone who brought honor to his partner's name, loved Colorado with a passion, and made it better for generations to come. I must say Morris Price Jr. is very special to me, and I ask to have the honor of presenting him. He is receiving this award for the second time because he has continued to be a champion in our community.
My name is Morris Price, and I proudly serve as the Vice President and Executive Director of City of Denver. I'm honored to once again be the recipient of the Denver Urban Spectrum Award. I have great appreciation to those who nominated me and to the opportunity that this city that I love and the community I care about continue to do good work, and also bring an honor to my parents, Morris and Joyce Price. Thank you.
Dr. Nita Mosby Tyler, Chief Catalyst, The Equity Project. Dr. Nita Mosby Tyler is best known for her equity, inclusion, and diversity consulting, facilitation, and HR expertise. She is a philanthropist, a social justice advocate who has worked with more than 300 organizations to advance racial equity in the past year. Over the past 5 years, Tyler says her most notable contributions has been her ability to provide college scholarships for 12 African American youth in Colorado. I have also launched 2 successful businesses, the Equity Project LLC and the HR Shop LLC, and being able to grow my businesses to work internationally in my equity, inclusion, and diversity consulting practices has been rewarding for me. I have worked in the UK, Australia, and Sweden, says Tyler. She cares deeply about Colorado and will always take an active role in advancing systems to help African Americans thrive. She says, I have seen the journey of our neighborhoods, schools, and our people, and there are extraordinary opportunities to strengthen our lived experiences here. Some of the biggest challenges facing African Americans have been lack of resources, access to strengthening small businesses, and access to footing inside larger organizations. To create the best conditions for us to thrive means we must be at the decision-making tables, resourced for success in our business, and knowledgeable about strategies that ensure success will be what we can do. She would like to be remembered as leading from many positions, the front, the back, and the sides, and as someone who took great pride in knowing where her leadership strength sits at any given time.
Dr. Nita Mosby Tyler here. I'd like to take a moment to thank the Urban Spectrum and the whole team for this esteemed award. I am so honored to receive the African Americans Who Make a Difference Award. This is a special award that I'm very familiar with because I watch it award people every single year for doing beautiful work in our communities. I feel really pretty special to have received it. You know, it's a really important time in history. It's a complex time in history. It's a hard time in history. And not only do I thank the Urban Spectrum for this award, I also thank them for giving me a pause to take the time to think about what I'm actually doing in the world. I appreciate that more than you'll ever know. So again, thank you for this esteemed honor. Thank you for the privilege. Thank you for the honor. Thank you for the thanks.
Sondra Young, President, Denver NAACP. Sondra Young works to make the efforts of her organization a valuable and important asset to the community. The Denver NAACP registered more than 800 people to vote in the 2020 election and provided voter registration training. Young worked to mobilize and galvanize the voices of youth by having events such as the Voter Sticker Music Party, Black Voter Day, and the Get Out to Vote Caravan down Colfax Avenue, Denver's busiest street. The Denver NAACP also helped pass bills that protect and empower the African American community, including the Crown Act SB 217 on policing, and led legislative efforts for HB 2414, social equity in cannabis. They offered a free reading boot camp with Chromebooks for students 5 to 10 years old and a free workforce development training program in construction. She takes an active role because she lives by the saying, be the change you want to see. As a transformational leader, I was committed to help move the human race forward. Like many others, when asked about the greatest challenges facing African Americans, Young cited COVID-19 as a priority. Unfortunately, COVID-19 exacerbates the Black community and disparities from access to quality health care and widening gaps in education for Black children. We need moratoriums on evictions and extensions of COVID stimulus packages, equitable recovery plans for Black communities, and real affordable housing and educators who will understand the children they teach. Young would like to be remembered as an unapologetic change leader, a fearless community bridge builder, and proud people connector, and an empathic helper of mankind.
Hello, my name is Sondra Young, the president of the Denver NAACP. I want to thank God today for doing all things well and all things good, and for opportunity. I secondly want to thank publisher B. Harris and the entire Urban Spectrum team for the work they do in community, their commitment to all of us here. I also want to thank and honor the honorees that are with me today for their work in community, for finding ourselves getting into good trouble together. I lastly want to thank my relentless, tireless, selfless, imaginative, fearless, intentional team of NAACP Denver members for the work that they've done in social justice and their commitment to this work. I lastly want to thank the president, our national president, Attorney Derek Johnson, for the work that he does in social justice nationally and how he kicks it down to us to do the work on ground level. Because we know together, when we fight, we win.
Tanaka E. Shipp, Director of Education, Collaborative Healing Initiative within Communities, co-founder, Sisterhood of Philanthropists Impacting Needs, known as SPIN. Tanaka E. Shipp unites women who are passionate about making a difference through charitable contributions and community service. With her volunteer work at the Center for African American Health, Shipp has supported the Diabetes Self-Management Program. She is a devoted volunteer for Denver's Juneteenth Music Festival. Last year, she formed a COVID-19 Community Response Fund that offered direct financial support to families in need. The initial $10,000 investment garnered support from foundations including Women's Foundation of Colorado, Margot Foundation, and Colorado Health Foundation, helping to raise $70,000. The fund assisted more than 700 families and 10 Black-owned businesses. She says graduating from the Urban Leadership Foundation of Colorado, ULFC, inspired her to take an active role. Over the past 5 years, Shipp's organization SPIN, co-founded with fellow ULFC alumni Nika McPhee, in 2014 has granted more than $40,000 in donations. Recipients have been several nonprofits that serve African American women and girls, including Star Girls, Curls on the Block, and Sister Biz Global Network. Shipp feels that challenges facing the African American communities include racial disparities in the education system, the school-to-prison pipeline, biased disciplinary practices, and biased teaching standards. African Americans are also faced with untreated mental trauma. She would like to be remembered as a person who was flawed, yet always honest, and who led with compassion, as well as for her genuine friendships and sisterhood, as a woman who aspired to empower others and never gave up on her work.
Hello, thank you so much. My name is Tanika Shipp, the co-founder of SPIN, Sisterhood of Philanthropists Impacting Needs. I'd first like to start by saying wow. Thank you so much for this prestigious award for me growing up in a rural town in Mississippi, and to be able to come to Denver and find my way in this community has been such an honor. And to sit here today and accept an award for an African American who makes a difference, it just really brings joy to the work that I do. Many of us, our community work is from our heart. These are things that we do that we're not necessarily getting paid for, and for the Denver Urban Spectrum to recognize the work that so many people have done in the community means so much. Sisterhood of Philanthropists Impacting Needs was founded 7 years ago with the hopes and goals to impact marginalized women and girls in our community. One of our main goals was to support, inspire, and uplift African American organizations who serve women and girls who look like us. So today, on behalf of SPIN, on behalf of the Sisterhood of Philanthropists Impacting Needs, I am so proud to accept this award, and so that we can continue to do this work. And we know that it'll be an arduous journey, but we want to just thank all of the brothers and sisters in community who have helped us along the way. And as we say in SPIN, it's good to be blessed, it's better to be a blessing.
Tony Goldsby, owner, Caring and Sharing Community Resource and Transformation Center. Tony is best known for his community involvement with his Community Resource Center, a nonprofit organization that was founded more than 10 years ago. In the past years, Caring and Sharing launched a food bank that donated free food to needy Colorado citizens. During the pandemic, Tony's organization distributed more than 300,000 pounds of food and gave widely in support of Black families who were disproportionately affected by COVID-19, where business closures were rampant. Caring and Sharing also started a housing program for veterans. In our program, veterans are housed in drug and alcohol-free environments. We start them on a firm path to success through our counseling classes and offer much needed and important resources. Our aim is to help participants work towards self-sufficiency. Tony's long-term goals include growing their staff numbers and launching a licensed facility to address issues related to mental health. Why does Tony take an active role? He says, while growing up in East Denver, I went through some of the same issues many of our young black men are faced with today. I know from experience, with the right help, people, and the resources, we all can grow up in our own individual ways to become great men in society. Tony says he would like to be remembered as a great husband of 32 years and a great father.
Hello everyone, my name is Tony Goldsby and I'm the owner of Karen and Sharon. And it's a great honor to be recognized for the work that me and my wife is doing in the community. And I just want to thank Ms. B. Harris for making this all possible and thank everyone else.
And now, a special tribute song in honor of our African Americans who make a difference. Miss Linda Theus Lee singing her original tune, You Make Me Smile.
Shobobey, obey, shobey bye. Shobobey, obey, obey, hoo-wee. Day-o, day-o, day. Shobo, bay, obey, 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 obey. You make me smile when my world seems gray. You make me look forward to a brighter day. Yeah, yeah. You brought my laughter to a level so high. You let me know life is a natural high. I would not want to go and try and find some other friend. Oh, it would seem like eternity or the essence of an end. You make me smile. Said you and you make me smile. Hey, yeah, you make me smile. Said, oh, you and you make me smile. Yeah, yeah, yes. So give me love, love, love. I never take it away. Oh, my eyes would turn from darkness to the shininess of gray. Well, but here I am, standing on the pedestal of life. Oh, knowing that everything is truly alright. I would not want to go and try and find some other friend. Oh, it would seem like eternity or the essence of my end. You make me smile. Yeah, yeah. You make me smile. Ooh, you make me smile. Say, well, you and you make me smile. Ooh, each and every one of you do.
Thank you, Linda. That was absolutely amazing. And now we have a special presentation to Miss Lauren Castillo, one of our own Colorado treasures, who also was featured on the February cover of the Denver Urban Spectrum.
That's my dog.
Lauren Y. Castillo is President and CEO of the Women's Foundation of Colorado, the only community foundation in the state focused on the economic advancement of women and girls. She is the first person in Colorado to lead 3 foundations and possesses more than 20 years of philanthropic leadership, as well as a career-long dedication to inclusiveness. Lauren is an experienced and recognized advocate for women, children, youth, and families in Colorado. Throughout her career, Lauren has earned numerous accolades, including the Anti-Defamation League Mountain States Region Civil Rights Award, the Colorado Women's Chamber's 25 Most Powerful Women Award, AAUW Trailblazer Award, the Girl Scouts Woman of Distinction Award, the Monte Pasco Civic Leadership Award, the Mountain Region Black Economic Summit Legacy Award, the Timeless Legend Award by none other than Denver Urban Spectrum, and the Women of Power and Purpose Award by the Denver Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. A Colorado Women's Hall of Fame inductee, Lauren is a frequent speaker, moderator, and panelist. Denver Urban Spectrum is proud to feature Lauren Castillo, her daughter Jordan, and her father, the late Whitney Young Jr., as our Black History Month cover story. This gift is a token of our appreciation to you for making your mark in history.
On behalf of my family, I am so very honored to receive this award. But more importantly, I'm honored to be a part of the long-standing vision of B. Harris and the Denver Urban Spectrum, as well as to be a part of an incredible group of African Americans who make a difference. I celebrate you, and I also celebrate all of the Denver community who are now finding ways to support each other in order for us to heal in difficult times. Thank you so very much.
And now I'd like to offer acknowledgements to individuals who helped support this evening's program. Bobby Wells Music, Donald James, Elias Goss and his mother, Leah Goss, his grandparents, Ralph and Shelley Anderson Simpson, Helen Bradshaw, Lawrence James, Linda Theus Lee, Matthew Burkett and the Fly Fisher Group, Misty Oz, Buttons from the Heart, Richard Bennett, Uppity Negro Wines, Ryan Cobbin, Coffee at the Point, and our event sponsors, Janice Henderson, Uppity Negro Wine, and Marlena Hullum of Colored Glass. And I'd like to add that Marlena B. and myself have been friends for the past 3 decades. Marlena is a phenomenal artist and handcrafted each of the awards presented to our honorees
personally to reflect their initials. Remember Marlena Hullum, Colored Glass. Thank you.
And once again, we would like to give a special shout out to all of this year's honorees. If you've ever been to an African Americans Who Make a Difference award ceremony with us, you know I often say, that's my dog. And so we would like to consider all of you all now this year, y'all my dogs. And I am excited to see you in traffic. I'm gonna be looking for a friend's invite to Facebook and Instagram. Y'all invite me to the cookout. Cousin, how you doing? But we would like to say congratulations for all of the work that you were doing. So once again, a big shout out to my former classmate at East High School, Ashlee Wedgeworth, who is doing some incredible things with the Urban League Young Professionals. I would like to give a big shout out to Brian E. Arnold. You are doing that thing, man. Keep doing it. To my Leadership Denver 2014 brethren, Dedrick Sims, 2 times. You keep doing this, and we are so excited to have you here again in the work you are doing with Sims Fayola. As we think about GiGi Hatcher, I would like to thank you for what you did for my daughter and the etiquette that she continues to show because of some of the things you poured into her. Halim Ali, Harold Fields, oh, y'all are both changing the game with the work that you are doing. To my boy, James Roy II, this thing, I told you if you kept doing it, you would continue to grow and shine, and I'm just so excited to call you my friend. To Jason McBride, showing that it doesn't matter the type of people you work with because we are all people, and the work that you have been doing to help gangs and our current reality man cannot be unnoticed. Thank you for the work that you are doing. And to John A. Reid, you are holding it down in these streets. Keep it up. Lisa Young, woo, they can't do it like you, and I'm so excited that you are here showing us what you have to offer. Makisha Boothe, man, I've been watching you on Facebook, and I'm so excited that the world is able to see the incredible work that you are doing. To my main man, Matthew Burkett, our daughters play together, but I'm so thankful that you are involved in what is happening to rejuvenate the 5 Points neighborhood and beyond. Keep holding it down as someone who I personally look up to. It's incredible to give you this award and this honor. Morris W. Price Jr., what don't you do? And I just want you to know that I am so thankful to have you in my life, thankful to have you as a role model, and you truly deserve this award. As we think about Dr. Nita Mosby Tyler, you have been holding this down over the years 2 times, and it is so incredible to just know you as a person. I'm gonna pull up to you at Shorter. I may just pull up to your house, have a plate ready for me, because I want to continue to learn and grow at your footsteps for all of the work that you are doing in the DEI space and beyond. To Sondra Young, NAACP Denver chapter. Keep holding it down, keep moving forward, keep showing why you lead from the front while also allowing others to elevate and to grow. And to Tanika E, Shipp, when they think about philanthropy, they often don't think about beautiful, amazing, and incredible women. And I'm so thankful that you and your sisters at Spin have changed the narrative, and you continue to show me what it is like to give your time, your treasures, and your talents. Keep leading, keep doing it. And to Tony Goldsby, dog, I am so thankful to know the work that you are doing and that you will continue to do. Now, some of you all I know really well. Some of you I've been friends with over the years, and for some of you, this may be my first time reading your bio and learning about you, but now we are kindred spirits, we are soul tied, and we're gonna keep moving to the future because you are an African American who makes a difference. You have been honored by the urban spectrum, which means we are all part of the same family, but this is not where the work ends. This is simply a comma as we head towards our period.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to thank all of Denver Urban Spectrum's contributors, readers, and advertisers. For truly, this would not be possible without your support.
Well, I hope you all have enjoyed this program and will share it with your family and friends. Over the last 34 years, this has been our mission to spread the news about people of color, and our motive to record history correctly. Before I close, I want to once again thank everyone who helped make this event possible, especially Ken Johnson, Alfonso Porter, Norma Page, and Quincy Shannon. And a big special thank you and shout out to our behind the scenes crew, Tanya Ishikawa, Cecily Perrin, and Jody Gilbert. But I'd like to take a moment and talk about the Spanish flu, also known as the 1918 influenza pandemic, an unusually deadly influenza pandemic caused by the H1N1 influenza virus. It lasted from February 1918 to April 1920 and infected 500 million people, about 1/3 of the world's population, in 4 successive waves. History is really repeating itself. In 1928, 10 years later, my grandmother who was born in 1899, gave birth to my father. She was 21 years old. My father and my many aunts and uncles, they survived that time. They survived the pandemic. And so did your grandparents. And for some of you who are much younger, your great-grandparents. Many years later, my grandmother, who they call Little Granny, she held my youngest grandson with his big brother standing by. Many of you know we recently celebrated Quincy's grandmother's 100th birthday. In actuality, she was a pandemic baby. So we need to recognize, give praise, and thanks for our survivors. They are the reasons we are still here today. In 2020, I was gifted with a great-granddaughter the day before Mother's Day. After 2 sons and 2 grandsons, she was truly a gift from God. This pandemic will be with us a little bit longer. Many people are alone and lonely and depressed. Family is more important now than ever, so reach out often. So as we recognize our rich history and culture this month, as we maneuver through this turbulent times, know that we are resilient, we are strong, and we are survivors. Many more people will perish, and that will be God's will, because everyone does have an expiration date. But until that time, live safe, spread joy, and love hard. And we will see you next year.